Dodge Viper American Club Racer was designed to be the fastest street-legal race car in the world. True to its purpose, the Viper ACR has achieved an astonishing 13 production track records to date. We've heard from ACR owners who'd like to achieve these track numbers themselves, and they can, simply by making slight adjustments to optimize the performance of the tires, suspension, and aerodynamics for each track, its conditions, and driver preferences. And that's why we're here, to walk you through the precise calibrations and adjustments you'll need to replicate the ACR's phenomenal winning streak, and maybe set some more records yourself. First things first, this is Jeff Reese. He knows the Viper aerodynamics better than anyone. Jeff, how might we prepare the ACR for the track?
Well, before we head to the track, we need to install our key aero components. That's the front splitter extension and diffuser strake extensions. We'll also want to remove our hood vents and extractors. Our goal with these adjustments is to maximize downforce and improve aero balance. When it comes to the rear wing, keep in mind this feature has a profound effect on handling balance. We recommend no adjustment be made to the rear wing unless it's done by an accomplished driver very familiar with the vehicle. For example, an experienced driver specifically looking to reduce aero understeer could change the wing setting from hole position 2 to hole position 1.
Next, let's take a look at shock adjustment. Your ACR arrived stock at street ride height, so it'll need to be adjusted for track ride height, which lowers the center of gravity and moves the splitter and diffuser closer to the ground where they'll be more efficient. We recommend you start with a front ride height of 4.0 inches. The rear ride height should be 5.5 inches. This will give you a good baseline amount of rake and sufficient shock travel. Then we'll check the corner balance on scales to within 10 pounds of cross-axle weight to ensure symmetric handling. While we're at it, we'll make sure the sway bar is disconnected before these adjustments, and we'll reconnect it when we're done. Then recheck the corner weights and frame heights. Finally, let's check the alignment and the bump steer. A good starting point would be 2.8 degrees negative camber with 0.08 toe out per side for the front and 1.8 degrees negative camber with 0.11 degrees toe in the back. This will provide consistent, stable performance and optimize tire wear at most tracks. Now, those might not be the final readings, but like I said, they're a darn good place to start. As for bump steer, once our ride height and alignment are set, the bump steer should be as close as possible to zero as the suspension goes through its travel, to provide predictable and symmetric handling. Now, those are our basic pre-track adjustments. Naturally, you'll also want to check your engine oil and tire pressure, bleed the brake fluid if necessary, and make sure you've got sufficient brake pad thickness and tire tread. Then grab your helmet and get yourself to the track. We've got Tom Odell here at Waterford Hills Road Racing Track to show us how we go about setting new production car records. Tom aims for 34 to 35 PSI front and rear when the tires are hot, and no less than 26 to 27 PSI when they're cold. The tires can debead from the wheel if they drop below 25 PSI, and they can gain over 10 PSI during an outing due to temperature change. So whatever you do, don't start with a cold street pressure of 36 PSI, or they're gonna hit 50 PSI or more once they heat up. Overfilled tires lose grip, and you're not here to spin your wheels.
Now Tom's gonna look at damper adjustments. Tom generally starts with the front compression setting at position 7 and the rebound position at 5. The rear should have a compression setting of 5 with rebound at position 3. We're all set with that, so now let's see how those settings work out for Eric on the track. As soon as Eric gets back, Tom checks tire pressure on the instrument cluster. He wants to see the tire pressure readings while the tires are still hot. How's it feel out there, Eric? How's the car handling?
Well, we saw a few bumps, but the suspension handled them real well. The main thing is there's a little unwanted understeer in high-speed turns.
There are a few things we can do to combat understeer. First, we can increase rake by raising the rear ride height. This increases the roll axis inclination, which will reduce mechanical understeer. The effect is similar to adding a stiffer rear anti-roll bar. More rake also shifts the aerodynamic balance forward, reducing aero understeer. The change in aero balance will be most noticeable on high-speed turns. So, more rake decreases understeer, less rake promotes understeer. The adjustable compression and rebound settings provide another way to compensate for understeer. And it's quicker than a rake change, so let's try that first. If Tom adds 1 click of compression in the rear and removes 1 click of rebound from the front, that'll do a bit to reduce the understeer Eric just experienced. Turning better, Eric?
Much better, much better.
Excellent. And that's how we optimize performance. We make small, incremental changes based on driver feedback.
We've only scratched the surface here. You can adjust the Viper ACR to match the capabilities and preferences of the driver. Keep in mind that lots of factors impact a vehicle's performance, from track layout and track surface to weather conditions and driving style. Always record any incremental adjustments you make and note how these changes interact with other conditions to affect performance. The challenge and the fun lie in finding the best setup for a particular track and driver on any given day. Hello, I'm Eric Heuschle, Manager for SRT Vehicle Dynamics. In other words, it's my job to orchestrate how all of the SRT components work together to create this car's amazing track performance.
And I'm Jeff Reese, Manager for Viper Vehicle Integration and Synthesis. My job is to ensure that the vehicle works as a whole to meet all its performance objectives and provide the intended customer experience. Today we're talking about the Dodge Viper American Club Racer, or ACR, its track features, and ways you can optimize this amazing vehicle's performance.
In this video, we'll show you some of the features of the ACR Extreme Aero package, including its aerodynamics, suspension, damping, ride height, and the rear wing. Our goal is to explain how all aspects of this vehicle are designed to work in harmony, creating America's hand-built, street-legal race car and the undisputed track record king with 13 production car track records.
The first features that can be easily converted from street to track mode are the hood extractors and the hood vents. The hood extractors, only available on the Extreme Aero package, are louvered panels found over the front wheel arches. They provide increased downforce to the front of the vehicle. Let me show you. Unscrew the 2 nylon wing nuts to slide them out. Leaving the panel wide open at the track provides the most front-end grip. You can further increase front downforce by removing all of the 6 textured hood vents. For each vent, remove the plastic clips, depress the tab, and push the vent outward. Let's move down to the rear of the vehicle and talk about its most prominent aero feature, the rear wing. This is the Extreme Aero wing, which is wider, higher, and further rearward than the standard ACR wing. It also features vented end plates and a unique gurney, all of which combine to improve aerodynamic efficiency and increase downforce. We developed this dual-element wing to provide the best combination of aerodynamic efficiency, weight, and downforce when you need it in instances of yaw or turning. Both wings are adjustable. This is the Extreme Aero wing, which has 5 levels of adjustment. The factory setting is at position number 2. Moving to a lower hole number will decrease rear downforce, reducing overall grip and understeer. Just a word of caution, making any changes to the rear wing can have a profound effect on the balance of the car. Let's put this up in the air so we can take a look at the front splitter. The Extreme Aero package comes with 2 dive planes on each corner, whereas the standard ACR has 1. Both versions of the ACR have carbon fiber front splitters and kick-up diffusers. The Viper ACR Extreme Aero package features a longer detachable extension and additional support struts with brackets from the bumper beam. Both splitters feature high-density polyethylene rub strips so you're not leaving carbon fiber on the road. Together with the rear wing, these components combine to produce the highest aerodynamic downforce of any production car, nearly 1 ton of downforce. At the rear of the vehicle, the Extreme Aero package includes 6 carbon fiber strakes that bolt to the diffuser. Strake extensions made of high-density polyethylene bolt onto the carbon fiber strakes and are designed to drag on the track just as the front splitter extension does. The extensions help generate additional downforce and yaw while not adding additional drag. When you're taking a high-speed corner, you're going to hear these things scraping as you go over the bumps, but that's what they're intended to do.
We worked with Bill Stein to come up with a true racing motorsports damper. It's a coil-over shock system with spring rates more than double the suspension stiffness of the Viper TA model. Adjustable collars at the corner of each vehicle allow you to tweak the vehicle's ride height up to 3 inches. The shock damping is also adjustable for both rebound and compression separately. At the front of the car, you can actually do this when the hood is open without having to take the wheel off. That makes for easy adjustments at the track. It has 10 clicks of adjustment, with 1 being full soft and 10 being full stiff. Red is rebound and blue is bump or compression, which makes it really easy. You can find the recommended settings for the street and baseline settings for the track in your supplemental owner's manual. Spanner wrenches are included to adjust the height at each corner. This is useful for corner balancing and rake adjustments. The recommended height settings for the street and track can be found in the supplemental owner's manual. The ACR marks the first time carbon ceramic matrix brake rotors have been used on the Viper. These rotors work in combination with 6-piston Brembo calipers for optimum braking performance with unprecedented brake fade resistance and greater handling capability through reduced unsprung weight. Detachable front brake ducts assist brake fade resistance by providing additional cooling to the brake calipers for optimum track performance. The Viper ACR uses Kumho tires specifically designed for the ACR to get the maximum amount of grip out on the track. A ghosting tread pattern makes it as close to a slick as you can get and still have it be a street-legal tire. In addition to the tread pattern and overall construction of the tire, Kumho worked with SRT engineers to develop a compound that provides great durability while achieving impressive lap times. The recommended tire pressures for both street and track can be found in the ACR owner's manual. Finally, let's talk about the 5-mode electronic stability control system. The tuning on this system was optimized specifically for the ACR's combination of aero, suspension, tires, and brakes to sustain more than 1.5 Gs through high-speed turns. The normal default mode for the electronic stability control system is ESC on and is used during normal driving situations. Sport mode has reduced traction and stability control, while track mode has no traction control and just reduced stability control. Rain mode offers increased traction and stability control for low traction conditions. ESC's full off mode is intended for track use only. To enter the ESC full off mode, while the engine is running and the car is not moving, push and hold the ESC button on the steering wheel for 5 seconds. A chime will sound, the ESC indicator light will illuminate, and the ESC off message will appear in the driver information display cluster. To turn ESC on again, simply push the ESC button. The ACR owner's manual should be used to reference recommended settings of the adjustable features, as well as other information regarding torque tightening, storage guidelines, care and maintenance of your ACR.
Now that you've spent some time with us, we hope you have a better understanding of how the features of the ACR make this ultimate street legal race car. I'm Jeff Reese.
And I'm Eric Heuschele, wishing you an enjoyable and safe time in your new ride.